Oh yeah. Get it up, get it up. Tomorrow's wealthy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hex Foodies, another live at noon Central U.S. time every Tuesday. What is happening? I don't have a scheduled thing, as you may or may not have seen. I didn't schedule this out for the future, so there wasn't a little thing roaming around on YouTube all week. I've got so many ideas on where we could go. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know. Of course, I'm fumbling around. Let's see. So some ideas I have is for future streams is Quit Coffee, rocket ovens with a guy in Australia who's been building them from my plans and installing them in community gardens. Another idea is the Trivium review. Gnostic Media introduced me to the Trivium. I'm going to change that background. Bitfinesse and Siren are in the chat. Finbear, I hope he's coming along. Anybody want to jump on? It's a free-for-all. Let's duke it out. Siren, you got any equipment over there? You want to come on? Let's see. I'll put the link in the chat. Switch over to my branding tab so I can put a different background. Boom. Let's see. I'm going to take myself off and show the idea for the permaculture grant. So that idea for the permaculture grant has not come to fruition, but I am in communication with people at reservations. The idea that I had was maybe we could go to these established organizations of community and liven them up a little bit, because it seems as though they've been let down. A few more people have joined. Let's see. We're having thunderstorms, Finbear says. Well. What I have been doing lately is what I'm calling catfishing Omegle. So my other YouTube account, Hex Futures, you can find some content of me typically late evening or maybe early morning, going in there, streaming, having it to where I'm viewing the screen and screen on Omegle. Tarin, thanks for last week. Tarin's in the chat. He did knives last week. You can look that up. So over there on Omegle, I'm introducing Hex Crypto to people who they're already at their computer. So they might, and they're already wasting time at their computer. So they might already be lending themselves to the idea of getting into crypto. Their friends, typically, their friends have already gotten into crypto. Maybe they've dibble dabbled. Like last night, I ran into this guy who was a jokester, and he bought Shiba and Doge, and he was just like, "Hey man, are you a millionaire? Like, come on, dude, just send me a little bit. Just send me a little bit. It's all good." I've learned, like if I ask somebody, "Do you have any Bitcoin?" Then they're like, "Yeah, I got like 2 Bitcoin. I got like 3 Bitcoin. You want one?" Those guys are just full of crap. So I'm realizing I ran into a Twitch streamer last night, and the guy had a avatar, an anime female that was like a kitty sort of thing. And so it was almost like he hacked into the Omegle website, and then he was making it to where 2 Omegle people, strangers, who he didn't know and they didn't know each other, he was like the interface guy. So if I was to type to somebody, I'd have to ask him to pass it on to the next person. But it kind of made it fun that there were like 3 people. And then he also had better tags than I did, because you can specify what your interests are. And so he was coming up with people like one after the other who might be more interested than I had been able to get a hold of. Because typically I'm doing like cold call stuff. And I counted like 10 in 3 hours. And so if I get those tags better, it's almost like putting tags on your YouTube videos so that the search engine finds you better. Speaking of, Turin's thing last week, I think it got over 100 views. The yoga one a few weeks ago got almost 200 views, which I was really surprised about. So that was awesome. Whenever we did the vitamin overview stream, we got about 200, and it might even be growing. It might have hit 200. Our highest viewed stream thus far is one where I captured Finbear whenever he was holding a knife, his favorite knife. So I think that it was the attraction of the eye that got them to watch our stream and maybe become a part of us. So please like, subscribe, pass on Hex Foodie's name to people. We are not only food creation awesomeness, but we are also into the land and body rejuvenation. I wish that Dragon would come back around. We haven't seen Dragon in a while. He was on some earlier streams, and I wonder if it was that we didn't have enough structure for him. Last time I saw him was over at the second Hex meetup. He got on stage and talked about some things that Richard Hart and him should talk about personally. Wait.
Hey, man.
I gotta take you back off. Hold on. I've got this fun little clip. Where is it?
Welcome to the hood. Welcome to the hood, Brother Finbear.
So every time Finbear is gonna
That's so
enter,
cool.
I hope that's attached to the front of it. I'll get some better audio later on.
Awesome, man. How's
So
it going?
good. I was just talking about going on to Omegle, and basically like catfishing for,
Yeah.
dredging the space for people that would be into Hex crypto. And I think that I've got like a really, really, really good turnover rate, in comparison to, just going out on the street, just meeting people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been surprising how many people have been just like, yeah, I want to talk about crypto.
Yeah,
Think they're
because
just relieved that you don't whip your cock out, and they're like, "Oh, this guy has something else to do." Like, there's a lot of I had a peek, and a lot of it is just masturbation, to be honest. I'm sure your content on that platform is a welcomed, like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So I've realized that it's young men who need a mentor, or it's middle-aged men who maybe they need a mentor too, but they'll lend themselves to talk about their financial future. I think you went muted. I think you muted.
No, I did because my kid came in looking for the charger, and I told
Gotcha.
him that I'm streaming.
Cool. What is Bitfinesse saying?
Opening dialogue. Oh, I haven't. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look into that, man.
So you've got thunderstorms over there?
Oh yeah, it's been going on for like a couple of hours already. We just maybe 15 minutes ago had a lightning strike something that the house went black for just a few seconds. So it cut off all the internet stuff, and all the computers and things are all messed up.
Do you ever lose like electronics from thunderstorms? Because we do
No,
around here.
no. There's like the grid is pretty well protected against surges like that.
So
But we will everybody will black out if we get like a big solar flare type of a thing. Like I think the last big one was, the name escapes me like right off the bat, but it happened when the most advanced stuff we had was the freaking Telegram. So the Telegram operators got electrocuted from their bleepy things because the solar wind just charged the copper in the wires, and it just discharged wherever. So like scientists say that if it happened today, we wouldn't have any electronics after an event like that. The dog is completely acting out. She's like so afraid. I haven't seen her like this before. Menesi. Just a second.
So I made this background after like seeing, Louis Vuitton sort of stuff. I also made a similar one that.
Hey, you're gonna have to send me like a big copy of that picture, like a high resolution version of it, very very high.
So this is only a portion of it. If you went to Hex Design, then there's like a 20-inch by 20-inch that goes through the whole spectrum of the Hex colors.
Oh, cool.
And then I posted another one that is that's got less. It's just got the carrots and the beets.
Mm.
So you see how it is a different design.
Yeah.
So I put it up there as well as I put it on Paul Wheaton's website, Permies.
Cool.
But yeah, I just wanted to have like organic figures in the design rather than inorganic or whatever
then
it is that Louis
just
creates.
hexagons.
Well, like some people have the overlapping silhouettes of the Louis Vuitton stuff with our hex stuff, to where it's
Yeah, I like this better.
mixture.
This is not like intellectual property theft at all. This is
True.
your own. This is your own thing. So even though it sort of reminds the LV logo a bit, or you get like the vibe, that's still something that's all you, anyways.
So I will forward my posts from Hex Design over to Hex Foodies after this. I wanted to go through some of the ideas that I had for live streams coming up. I talked about the Trivium, where it's logic, grammar, rhetoric.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was awesome.
That stuff was introduced to me by Gnostic Media via podcasts back in like 2011 or 10. Really appreciate, what is that guy's name? I forget his name.
Is he in our chats?
No, not at all.
Oh, you
No,
mean talking about Trivium and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Gnostic Media is who introduced me to it. At least 10 years ago, over 10
Does
years
it have something to do with that bold fellow who
Jan
does
Irving.
stuff with magnets? He's tattooed or like he's bold like an egg, you know.
No, that's Ken Wheeler.
Yeah, that dude is. He's so deep into the things that he knows that I could listen to him for freaking hours. I would like to see him stream live so I could ask him stupid stuff, but I can.
He does in the evening. Sometimes you'll find him live on his couch for at least 2 hours, and he calls it Fat Bald Tattoo Guide live stream or whatever.
Oh, but does he keep them up? Like, can I find the like old uploads or something?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look into it. I remember seeing him like 10 years ago or something. He was a lot younger and way more upset with the fact that people don't understand magnetism, and he was so upset that he was like angry. And I was like, I was younger as well, and it didn't sort of sit well with me that, okay, so if you know something that nobody else understands, why are you so fucking upset about it? But then like later I've realized that that's probably because if you know something that's out of the paradigm, nobody's gonna listen to you. So you're just talking to yourself, basically.
Yeah. And for everybody listening, what you can get out of this conversation or knowing this guy is that he puts reactive paper on top of magnets, and he shows you a section of the toroidal field that's happening on a magnet.
No, he does all kinds of stuff. He just made a short video about something where to do with structured water, which I thought was a whole lot of woo-woo type of stuff.
He'll put stuff in the freezer, and then based on the structures that you see from the frozen water, then he'll explain that stuff. He'll explain the structure of water.
Yeah, and it changes water, like it changes the sort of the it makes it more pure somehow. And it's supposed to have like all kinds of psychological effects and whatever. Like if people drink water like that, seems very weird sort of out of what I would think the world is and how it works. But if the dude is so convinced, I'm pretty sure he has some studies to back it up. He's written a shitload of books and everything. Like the dude translates like dead languages into English and all kinds of stuff. That dude is clever.
And also, he's made study cards. He's put formulas down on cards so that you can have like an easy reference guide. And I've got those on my my desktop. I could organize that and put it into Hex Foodies chat.
Oh yeah.
So he was one of the guys that I said, oh, well, I'll reach out to whoever this is that Finbear posted. And then I realized, oh, I've already donated to Ken Wheeler before. So he's a little bit harder to get on our stream. You and I
would
talked
imagine, yeah.
for a second about that.
Yeah.
Everyone, bring us your influencers. Let's interview them. Let's get them on the stream.
Yeah, let's try to get them on. So what else is up?
For right now, this is what I think the guy's name is, but I forget what his Ken Wheeler. I forget what his YouTube
It's
name
something
is.
like Apo Bosses or something like that.
Right. Where he may have like a
can't go
statue
and-
of a thinking man.
Yeah, I can't go and look because I'm on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what
It's
I did
Theoria something, wasn't it?
let me go back to the list real fast. So a friend down the street, he's really good with hand radios. And so I was thinking that we could probably have him on and talk about radio waves.
Ham radios.
Mm-hmm.
That's freaking awesome because we're gonna need a ham radio soon. Or we might. That would be awesome. Try to get him on.
Cool. Yeah, this is a
And
childhood friend of mine.
I would be interested in getting some kind of a list of like things to buy to have like an awesome setup.
Turin says he's the radio guy in the USCG Coast Guard. That's awesome.
Oh.
I wonder if he was like based out on some island somewhere, because that's what I heard about during the Vietnam era. A guy who used to live here in this area, he was just stranded on an island for like 2 years
During the
off this
Vietnam
duty.
War.
Yeah, because he was just supposed to be the radio guy halfway there or something.
Oh, that sounds pretty safe. If you're like halfway between the States and Vietnam, he could be like anywhere.
Turin says, buy a bowfinch.
Bowfing, what's that?
It's a radio.
Is that like like a brand or?
I bet it's the innards. Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Let's see. I've got another note that we could go over community gardens. So y'all start thinking about bringing people from your area that are good with community gardens or have been setting them up. You know, people in your local area who have been organizing. Another idea that I had was let's do a live stream through supermarkets, to where I'm here at my house, but you guys could be on your cell phones running around supermarkets talking about your favorite foods or cutting down products that we want to stay away from. It's a very important subject because people don't realize the crap that's in their food. That's why I've been posting some stuff about oils. You know, we've got all sorts of oil stuff.
I gotta hop off real quick.
Okay.
Be back. Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Anybody else interested? Ham radio is huge. For some reason in my head, I had hand radio and was thinking like, that's how I identify that thing. But yeah, you're right. Ham radio. So other ideas was a meditation with one of my spiritual leaders who is my acupuncturist. I thought that would be fun. I don't know if you guys are into meditation. And then my friend also, Turin, my friend also knows about CBs. He helped me wire my CB in my truck, even though I don't use it. Let's see. Another idea was similar to the supermarket run through. So a farmer's market run through, you could be on your cell phone reporting back. So that would actually have to be a market day. So we would have to pre-record maybe on a Saturday and have a lot of fun there, and then package it and release it to everybody on Tuesday. There's a person in this area that's, well, like local celebrities. Do you guys know about Ricky Williams? He was a running back over at UT. He went off to, he played football. Whenever I was a high schooler, I just down the street, I saw that Ricky Williams had a really good season because he stayed around with, instead of like graduating, going off to the NFL, he leveraged his whatever body and team to have a successful team with the Longhorns that year, and he got the Heisman Trophy. And after that, he went into pro, and he got caught smoking marijuana as a pro athlete, and they sort of like kicked him out or something like that. I don't know. They fined him, and he went soul searching. So he went over to Asia and started doing soul searching meditation stuff. And I have such respect for people who do this sort of thing, who divorce what we've got going on over here to seek other ways of life. And whenever he came back, he went back into the NFL, got hurt immediately because he wasn't used to the abuse. And now, as I understand it, he's down in Austin at the front of grocery stores telling people to enlighten themselves, to pay attention to the spiritual side of life. And I cannot wait for one of my friends who has been warned, like, you have to let me know the next time you see Ricky Williams at the front of an H-E-B. That's H-E-B is our grocery stores. Because I cannot wait to run into this guy and have a conversation with him about what we're doing in Hex and what we're doing with permaculture. All right, Finbear.
Welcome to the hood in Brother Finbear.
That's awesome.
Let's see. So I'm gonna go to Bill. What is his name? Bill Morrison.
Mollison.
Mollison. I'm gonna go to him real fast to remind us that it's us who needs to do the work.
If any other individual, their duty as well, will have all this covered. And I have students of whom I'm very, very proud, and to whom I'm very, very grateful, because they'll finish the job.
Another idea for a live stream could be like the history of a corporation, one that abuses and swindles. And then convict conditioning, that's something that I'm doing right now. You can find that book on Amazon, or you can find some videos that go over like these very, very simple against gravity workouts that you could do in a jail cell. And you could, get in shape down to your core, just like what I preach about with the yoga stuff. And then the last thing is something that Finbear brought up, like, hey, yeah, we could talk about rocket ovens, but we could also talk about rocket technology in the rocket mass heater. I think that you've got a barrel that you're interested in using for something.
Yeah, I already made that into a burn barrel, so I've been burning shit. Like I got a shitload of branches still.
Sweet.
So I gotta get rid of a lot of it. So I figured I'm gonna burn most of it. There's stuff that isn't already like chopped. I've got several cubic yards of wood chips waiting for to be put into the pathways on the on my garden.
Let's see. U.S. Fruit Company might be a good corporation to look at. Yeah, I want to know like farming abuse, you know? Like let's talk about Banana Republic stuff, you know?
Yeah, or Monsanto's patenting of the seeds and all that stupid stuff.
Turin has this idea where we could have a rocket stove challenge. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So what I want to do here is not spend a lot of time on the computer editing stuff. I told Hexray Vision that from the beginning. You know, his idea was that we could go out and tour these intentional communities. Like we reviewed one, the OSR that was over there in the Mormon country.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You still get the emails?
No, I don't. They
You
gave
don't?
up on me.
Oh man, that's they filled their hours with you. They're like, okay, we're giving up on that guy. They just baptize you post-mortemly, like after
But it's
you're dead.
but it's about damn time we go and check up on them because they have a YouTube channel, so they're trying to use that as content creation to bring people out to sum up what's happening out there.
Yeah,
I wonder.
It would be interesting to see if it's like greener or what's been going on.
Well, the last thing I knew was that they were having floods and they were having like a foot of water.
Well,
and it couldn't drain
water,
fast enough.
So that's like step number one.
So we're sitting there like Rogue Herbalist and Hexray and I are sitting there in this valley driving around in the desert, and they tell us that there's like 3 rivers that came together and they're underneath our feet. And so all you have to do is have a shallow well and you'll have water. And each one of these plots are like about 2 acres, I think. So I was telling them like, hey, I would just dig down into this 2 acres and then bring up the land formations in order to keep the water on your plot and have it soak in directly. And somehow have it to where your structure is on the high ground of that. But they were basically like laying out city blocks down there in the valley of this desert. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then it's
gonna have interesting. It's gonna have interesting outcomes because everybody's gonna plant different stuff. And there's some areas that are going to be sort of neglected and some areas that are going to be more, people are going to be more sort of hands-on, like keeping an eye on what grows there and what animals they keep there and whatever.
Those Mormons understood community. And so they made sure that they had a certain amount of professionals from every type of professional. It was really interesting. And the guys were already committed to moving out there.
That's also very good.
But yeah, like what happens when somebody's chicken won't shut up? Or like,
well, yeah, they still have like 2 acres is still quite a lot of space.
That's all you have.
That's not too much actually. That's The
next 2 acres right there. Yeah, you're probably on a rectangle, not a square.
So you're about 2 acres away from the guy. A rooster might still be annoying. You can't even like whip your member out if you feel like it. Like your neighbors are right there within like binocular distance anyway.
Bitfinesse backs up
Yeah,
the
like
rocket
if
stove idea.
like if you had all the stuff, like if you had all the fire bricks and
So are we?
a little bit of mud and stuff, you could maybe build one in, I don't know, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. But
What do
rocket
you think?
stove, that would be inside as opposed to a fire pit situation outside. Would you apply it to your actual house? You know what I mean? Or would this just
Mm.
be like a test subject?
I
And
think
then,
I'm gonna. I could build something into the greenhouse. It's pretty big, and if I had like a small heater in there and a lot of mass, I could use the small rocket heater to heat a lot of mass, and maybe I don't know have some of those outlaw chickens or something. A couple of rabbits. You don't need a permit for rabbits, so maybe I'll have rabbits in the greenhouse.
Paul Wheaton, he discourages people from applying those things to the greenhouse, and instead maybe they could just share a wall. I don't know. So you
Where's
know
that?
what I'm like if you had it to where your feed tube was coming from your greenhouse, then maybe the air direction could be messed up, and then you could receive your exhaust inside the greenhouse.
Oh yeah, that'll really fuck up the rabbits in a hurry.
So maybe you could share a wall with the greenhouse, and then your heat could pass through that wall and make it into
That
the
would be
space.
that would be a better like optimal situation. But of course, we have to make do with what it is that we have, and
Yeah.
mine is out there.
Yeah, you could run it through the floor though.
Mm.
But I do want to bring people's attention to like there's two different uses for rocket technology, for an oven that is ready for baking, and then a stove that is ready for like stovetop and then heating a room or heating a mass.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, saw a sauna that was made with a rocket stove. Didn't look too hot. Like didn't like the design of the building in general, but looked like it got pretty hot. One of the biggest mistakes that I notice everybody makes who is like a foreign dude who builds a sauna for themselves is that they put the seats like way too low. The highest seat needs to be really high up in the room, because that's where all the heat is. So if you just have a seat which is like a table height in a room, most of the heat is above your head still. So you need to have the seats so high that when you get up on the highest seat, you're gonna have to sort of bend down and scoot down to sit on it. That's when you get all the good stuff.
That's interesting. I was just thinking that you would have a bench, and then that bench becomes warm, like that is the mass, and you're sitting on that.
That's horrible, man. That's one of like those Chinese beds that they have in the countryside. That's a good idea for something else, like they sleep on it.
I'll
But-
show you Paul's living room.
But I've seen it. It's quite beautiful. The copper colored.
Erica and Ernie Weisner, who install these things, are experts of rocket mass heaters. I've seen plan after, installation after installation of them clearing out a living room, and there where the exterior wall is, that's where they install this stuff.
Yeah.
Let me play this Discourse Syndicate stream portion where they recognize that there is a Hex Foodies group.
You talk about Hex in the middle of that.
There's a Hex Foodies Telegram chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hex Foodies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mango Junkie, for doing that a year ago.
Yeah,
It's really
man.
awesome of you.
Doing the Lord's work there.
So let's ask Richard Hart what we should do.
I mean, it seems like food coins are popular.
Food coins. Oh man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna have to like cut it short today because the missus is out on her business adventures again, and I'm stuck in here with the kids.
Cool.
Nah, not so stuck, but I'm here with the kids, and they're getting a bit rowdy because I'm not shouting at them or asking what it is that they're doing. Which I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the parenting is just listening. Did you sit somewhere, you listen, and you hear something going on, and you're like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" But you don't actually like do anything. You just ask them what's going on. What is it? What is this that I'm hearing? And I don't want to hear it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much like parenting one-on-one.
How do you get their chaotic interest to go away? Because whenever it is that I just experienced a weekend with my niece and nephew who were visiting at my parents' house, and so we would go out every day and waste some of their energy, and I always like try to get them distracted from what they think is fun, chaotic. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, well, I could just destroy this a little bit by tweaking it this way. And it's like, you know what? Why don't you exercise your mind this way?
I took the kids swimming today, so they were swimming for like 2.5 hours or something. So
like
it could be a lot worse.
My nephew would look at that pool and he'd be like, oh, it would be cool if all of that water came out over here on the sidewalk. So he just starts like dishing the water up, because the kid wants to work. He wants to do something productive.
Yeah. Or you just want to see what it looks like. I get it, man. I've done so stupid shit like when I was a kid. Oh my God. You wouldn't believe. I didn't burn stuff, but I've had fire brigades called to all sorts of places because whenever there was a button and there was like a lid on top of it, I was like, this is an extra cool button. I'm gonna press this because there's a lot of action then. Every time I press it, wheeze, there's a lot of action going on. I'm gonna press this. Boop. I wouldn't have otherwise, but there was a lid on top of it, so I knew it was like a good one to push.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like turn off the lights or something because a kid is afraid of the dark, but I'll get the fire brigade over.
Is any of your kids afraid of heights?
Not as much as I would wish them to be. Like in particular, like my son is like, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like he's afraid of anything. Yeah, David's correct. When it gets really quiet, that's when you know something fishy is going on. That's when you know you have to like get up from your seat and go and check out what the frick is going on. Why are you so quiet? And they're like, dude, I'm reading. You weren't reading.
Biffin is joking that you just wrote a book.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's like parts 1 and 2. What's going on? Stop that and don't make me come out there. That's like, yeah.
So have you can I ask you what do you think about ICOSA and how fast should people be looking at
motherfucker,
ICOSA?
that's so complicated. Oh shit, man. I feel like a moron when I listen to people talk about it. I haven't been paying attention. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't dumped my Hedron. I got like fuckloads of it. I sold some pretty close to the peak, and I bought some hex with it. But then I've minted a shitload afterwards, and I haven't sold those at all. But I don't know what to do with them. Like, sure, I could stake I'll probably stake them, and I'll make the NFTs, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So I haven't I claimed the 10x return or the 9x return on the Hedron. I haven't minted any Hedron yet, but Icosa makes it to where you can. It's made by the same guy as or the same group as Hedron, and what you're able to do is you're able to take your Hedron and stake it with Icosa and earn Icosa. And then once you have Icosa, you can either stake Icosa or stake more Hedron. Wait, I'm sorry. You stake Icosa in order to earn both Hedron and Icosa.
Yeah.
And the live stream that was done 6 days ago with Crypto Sloth is a good interview in order to get an introduction to this. So Crypto Sloth's live stream with Alex from Hedron 6 days ago. That's what I was watching last night, and that was what was referred to me by Hex is the Way, who I often communicate with.
Yeah, I sent messages to Kool-Aid and was like, dude. I was like, yeah, I was just on the stream. You have to go and watch the stream. I'm not gonna he's gonna answer all your questions. And I was like, okay, but there better be dragons in there. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, Kool-Aid was talking about dragons at one point.
That's funny. I just said Hex is the way, and here he is.
There he is. Hello, man.
Let's see what else we got going on. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about doing sort of like that permaculture grant, but just like Facing Reality created him and some other people behind his head whenever he does live streams, you'll see that he created this dollar bill art. And so I'm thinking like if we had dollar bills well printed in our hands and it had a link to learn more about Hex and how to contact one of us individually, then we can pass that out on the street, and whoever actually follows up on it and says like, hey, gift me a little bit of Hex, I'm interested in staking, then I think that would be enough of a weed out to be able to, get people interested just from being off the street rather than having just an advertisement that had no follow-up. Because something in the Hex postcards group that we've been talking about is once we send these postcards out, like how are we understanding how much traction we're getting? And so lately it's been, okay, well, let's make a QR code and have it linked to an unlisted YouTube video. And then we'll understand like how many people have come to this unlisted, found this, like direct link to this video because you can't find it otherwise.
Yeah, that's interesting. But there, of course, there's a small hurdle there with using the QR code because I've never used it. I don't even know how to use it on my phone. So I don't know how much people use it over there. But over here, that's like one of those token things that you put on your company, like material, but nobody actually uses it. But it looks good because everybody knows that, oh, that's the QR code for the thing with the thing. But then you're like, well, can you show me the website? Nah. Not with my phone. No, but I know that it's a QR code.
I get you. I was opposing
I'm not dissing, like,
a lot of it.
You could also have just like a short link, something like free.hex or some like short link, which would then just
route people. So buy a domain name, have a short one,
and of course you could look up the Google Analytics, like you can see them state by state. Maybe you could see the interest picking up in some certain area or like a state during the time that the postcard was sent out.
Let's
Google
go.
stuff. Oh, that's actually something that's really interesting. A little bit off topic, but something that I was meaning to talk about with you guys. So I just saw this video and I did a few sort of randomized tests myself, and I was hoping that some of you guys might do this as well. So you've not noticed this, but Google doesn't have any good information anymore. So think of one or two sort of pretty recent events that have been in the news a lot and do a search on Google, say something like January some day or some kind of a news event, and go to like there's probably like 500 million search results, and if you start going through the list of the search results, you'll soon discover that there's only about 3 pages of actual links, and then everything just repeats. It's all the same shit. Like, you can't find anything on Google anymore that's outside the sort of the what's it called? Like, everything that's in tune with sort of the narrative is what we see on Google and nothing else.
They're erasing the internet.
They're erasing stuff from search engines in such an alarming rate. They're taking books out of the library, so you can't find old science books or
And
meteorology books.
I've talked about that with clouds because I was I went to when I was getting out of corporate world, when I was exiting Houston and coming back to my hometown in Central Texas, I visited the local library and I noticed that all books on clouds were published 2003.
Yeah.
Replacing what was before.
Yeah, and that, like, how do clouds change? How is that science? Hey man.
Yeah,
Namaste.
They just pollute. How could you change clouds? Yeah. And the shit's supposed to build, right? It's not supposed to break down. And that's what I've been seeing lately. Is like once these clouds are approaching me, they're breaking down and just carrying the moisture over the top of me instead of accumulating and then dropping
and like growing. Yeah, that's weird. Weird stuff going on. Did you already see Richard's stream from yesterday?
Okay, so Richard did 2 streams with, what is it? Something Fitness? Fit FF?
Fresh and Fit.
Okay, and typically these guys, they talk about women, finance, and fitness. So it's a one-stop shop for men.
Yeah, they have separate like time slots for everything.
So he did one during the day, and Funding Gym was on one side of him, and Dollar Cost Crypto was on the other side of him. By the way, Funding Gym's starting to go by his real name, Gary Woods. And so that was a really good interview. We heard some new content from Richard on.
It was excellent story, like that stick up thing, or that setup that they had with the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And pulling out the guns and stuff, catching the bad guys. Oh man, great stories to tell when you have like a captive audience like that.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff.
And
I really liked it.
Then later on in the night, they had a bunch of skanks.
Yeah, that's what I called them. Yeah, I called them skanks, lovingly.
Yeah. Just a bunch of girls in Miami that filled into the studio. And for some reason, at the beginning, for an introduction, they like said, okay, give us your dating status, give us your age. We don't give a shit about your name, basically. Where are you from? Yeah, educate. How far in education did you go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only spent like 20 minutes watching that stuff. Um, and I had just so many things to cram into last night, and then I could have gotten better sleep. But yesterday was meditation day for me. Typically, Mondays are self-care and meditation. The M goes well with meditation. And so like I'm able to go into that meditative state, and then I'll need less sleep. So I can
That's
go more
awesome.
day hours because I went into that that vibration, I guess.
How long did you do it for?
Maybe like 20 to 30 minutes. What I like to do is I'll go to the shopping center that's up the hill from the lake. I'll park my car in that shopping center. I'll run down to the lake to get some exercise, swim, yoga, meditation there on the rock facing the sunset, and then jog back
Oh,
up.
God, what a hippie you are, man. So you have no girlfriend, or
Right now, I
where's your
don't.
girl? Oh, I don't believe this.
Yeah,
Then Tuesdays, what do you go? You go and pet puppies at the factory. Wednesdays is when we smell kittens. Thursdays is kickboxing, and Fridays steaks and blowjobs.
I don't know if everybody remembers me saying my the last girl I dated, she fled to Mexico during lockdowns and was thinking that I was going to follow her. And it was just like, no, I'm not going to follow you to a country that I don't think I'm, I'm not free to come back into my own country afterwards. I got shit to do here.
Yeah.
I got connections here that I need to fortify.
Yeah, sometimes like people have the strangest ideas. Like let's drop everything and you come with me over there. Like,
well,
what? No.
To give her credit, she was finding herself after a divorce, and her mom was also single, and they had this idea of setting up an Airbnb over in Oaxaca, Mexico, where a lot of expatriates are relocating. So it's a really solid plan. I know that she's doing well. We just don't talk as much because it's hard.
No, yeah. What's going on in the chats?
Modern day book burning. Getting rid of the stuff in the library.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Diraj is watching,
and it's so easy
with the girls.
Like, I'm pretty sure we could watch the video I shared in the foodies chat, or if we can't, you guys should watch it anyways. Like I shared it's maybe like a 6-minute video where that statistics guru Heller guy goes through news from the early 2000s, where all the experts are absolutely certain about the polar ice cap being completely melted by 2013.
All right, let's bring that up.
I don't know if you're gonna get like a copyright strike because it is on YouTube. So.
Oh, wait a minute.
Just as well, like you.
I thought you were talking about climate change.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I shared a couple of things. Arctic ice refuses to melt. That
one, right?
Hello, this is Tony.
Hey, mute yourself. Because otherwise we get an echo.
Today I published my first article about the global warming scam. Arctic ice refuses to melt as ordered. It was in response to a barrage of ridiculous predictions from leading government scientists. Expert Arctic polar cap may disappear this summer. North Pole may be ice-free for the first time this summer. Frightening projection for Arctic melt. The Arctic Ocean could be free of ice in the summer as soon as 2010 or 2015. The Arctic is screaming. Could all Arctic ice be gone by the year 2012? Satellite images say it might be. Swimmer aims to kayak to North Pole. This year, for the first time, scientists predict that the North Pole could briefly be ice-free, and that has inspired Mr. Pugh to try to find a way through. Arctic sea ice gone in summer within 5 years. Arctic summer is ice-free by 2013. Gore, polar ice cap may disappear by summer 2014. The U.S. Navy predicted the Arctic would be ice-free by 2013, and then said their prediction was too conservative. The Democrats' favorite climate prophet, Dr. James Hansen of NASA, predicted the Arctic would be ice-free between 2013 and 2018. But their predictions didn't do too well. Arctic sea ice extent is in the normal range and is the highest for the date in 13 years. Sea ice extent is higher now than it was in 2007 when Al Gore was given the Nobel Prize. The surface mass balance of Greenland is once again above average this year for the fourth time in the last 6 years. In 2017, 2018, last year, and this year, the surface of Greenland gained more ice than normal. Summer is over at the North Pole, where they had an unusually short melting season. There's thick sea ice all the way up to the coast of Alaska and eastern Siberia. With nothing but cold in the forecast for the rest of the summer, it's unlikely there's going to be a lot more melt. But the Arctic Ocean wasn't always like this. In 1971, the ice retreated far offshore from both Alaska and eastern Siberia. National Geographic published this map of Arctic sea ice in late 1971. This week in 1958, a submarine surfaced at the North Pole. The New York Times wrote about it, said the ice was very thin, and predicted that within the lifetime of their children, the Arctic Ocean may open, enabling ships to sail over the North Pole. But today's Arctic shipping map shows that there aren't any ships sailing over the North Pole. There are a few tankers off the coast of Siberia aided by icebreakers. Last year, many of those ships got trapped in the ice in the autumn, and the press, of course, blamed it on climate change. In 1958, the New York Times predicted the Arctic would be ice-free within a generation, and now they say the Arctic is melting faster than expected. The press has zero integrity and no interest in science or history. They're pushing an agenda to demonize low-cost, reliable energy, which billions of people around the world depend on to survive. And the Nobel Prize is being awarded to people who lack the necessary skills to win a middle school science fair.
Another new study to be presented by U.S. Navy researchers later this week warns it could happen in as little as 7 years. 7 years from now.
That's 2007.
In the last few months, it has been harder and harder
my
to
God.
interpret the signs that our world is spinning out of kilter.
Toto's been pulling back the curtain on this massive scam for exactly 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki and Upala on the web at realclimatescience.com.
Exactly 14 years. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That guy's been keeping
Forecasting doom seems to be good business because the press has been doing it for as long as there's been a press to do it.
Let's see.
But those guys aren't even remotely embarrassed about being wrong. Nobody remembers. Because I don't watch TV, I notice how quickly the most important things in the world change. Like it happens over the night between Sunday and Monday, where the stuff that was really important all of a sudden becomes like your girlfriend from 3 years ago. Like nobody thinks about it anymore.
So you're going through the hangover, and then whenever you come to realization of the real world Monday morning, then it's all just, here's your new story.
Yeah, this is the new thing that we're afraid of. Or this is the new frightening thing. This is the doom that's awaiting us now. Oh man, the sky is looking like so weird. It's all bizarre.
I proposed the idea of at a meetup at Turin's place in Oklahoma. Maybe we could make some rocket stove stuff. he was saying maybe that's not a great idea.
You guys are. I noticed that the laws are changing. The CDC is changing the regulations regarding who can enter the country and what kind of human medical experiments you have to take part of in order to get into the country. So it's looks like they're releasing their grip a bit.
Well, that ties into what we were just talking about with people's short-term dementia. I have the feeling right now, I'm pretty psychic. I have the feeling right now that it's 8 years until the next virus lockdown thing. I mean,
that seems like a long time. Like,
it does seem like a long time. So maybe it's like
man.
that's the point of no return.
Interesting.
Maybe that's the time whenever we actually get a financial collapse or our chains.
Don't you feel it coming? Like
I feel like we're in the eye of the
everything.
storm.
Yeah, everything's like cracking at the seams.
I think that
Feels like.
everything's like really silent right now, and yeah, that means that they're doing stuff in the background.
You guys know that scratching a dog lowers your heartbeat and it lowers your blood pressure. And there's medical studies made about scratching, like the health benefits of just every now and then scratching a dog. Well, our brains have these cells that their only job is to mimic everything that they see. So there's another study that says that you don't even have to scratch the dog yourself. It's enough if somebody does it and you see it. So here you go, I'm going to scratch the dog for you guys just to lower your blood pressure a bit. That's disgusting. Oh, we're doing this for science.
So what comes to mind?
She's horrified of the thunder. Sorry, guys.
What comes to mind for me is connecting with those. What is it? The negative charge, the grounding effect. Like maybe the dog, because it's on the ground, it's more grounded than you, and then it passes on some of those charged atoms to you.
Yeah, could be.
All right, so we've been on for an hour. We're safe to cut it whenever. Everybody go. Like, it's my understanding that the sooner you get into ICOSA, the better. With the staking stuff, because it's done by the same people of Hedron. I believe that, and then also Pulse Police looked at it, so I believe that it's safe. It's something that you can do that is a part of like already free based on you staking Hex.
And I think about it like this: like, I didn't understand why staking Hex was a brilliant move when I did it. I trusted the people who spoke about it, which is Richard. And he said staking it long is better than staking it short. And I staked it long. I learned afterwards that it was a good move. So this might be a similar situation. I'm just going to go through the moves, do all the things, and stake all the stakes. And we got time to learn about it afterwards.
And then anybody who wants to follow me into Omegle whenever I cold call these people face to face, please do, because
those are pretty
whittles
awesome.
You down.
Yeah,
it hones in some skills.
Yeah, because you get to learn sort of the opening. You get to tell the story many times to different people. So if you really, if you want to, and if you want to get good at sort of sharing the story and the mechanics, you don't want to stutter when you do it. Better to do it online where everybody can see you forever.
So,
All right, I'm gonna have to hop off.
sign us off. Sign us off.
All right, guys, this was great. Steak fat and steak long. See ya.
Yeah.